the meeting, so you're going to be asked to use microphones. We need a motion to approve the agenda. Okay, Mr. O'Campbell. Second by Tracy Biggich. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Christina Watts. I represent District 9, which is Bluffton, Craterville, and Pulaski Island. I'm the board chair, so it's my job to try to run an efficient and orderly meeting. We're trying tonight something different that we have not tried in the past, so we'll see how it works out. I first want to thank the nutrition group for a fabulous hors d'oeuvre display or spread or whatever word we want to use.
Beautiful.
Yes, I want to tell people that are here tonight, please feel free during the discussion to go up and get more. There's lots of food there, and also there's some small plates there. Feel free to take some home. All right. Oh, thank you. All right, we'll now say thank you. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The media has been properly notified. So up on the table where you signed in is there's a handout that I understand was used by the school district on the basics for effective school improvement council. And these are some extra handouts. And if you go to their website, you probably most of you are very familiar with the school improvement council. They have very good information on the website. The board wants to thank all of you that came out tonight. You know, this is a busy time of year, and you were so vital to Beaufort County School District to help improve our schools. And I think there may be people also who are listening online, or I think it's going to be correct. Do we have any board members?
No, we're not.
Okay. Okay, all right. So thank you very much. So our dialogue tonight, we want to keep it along the lines of, you know, what's the purpose of the school improvement council? Well, we know that it's a, you know, an advocacy committee really for the administration and staff, faculty of each school. So bear that in mind when we're discussing things, and try to keep your comments in that realm. That would be very much appreciated. As I mentioned, our intent tonight is to have a dialogue. This is the first time we're trying this, so we will learn from it, I'm sure. You guys will review it. And anything that's not covered tonight, the topics that are we will discuss in our January work session. We want to try to be more responsive to, you know, what are your goals, what are your needs, and how to support that. All right. I just received a list of the topics that you wrote out on the walls there. And why don't I just go ahead and read them, and then we can just kind of know in general what we're going to be speaking about, and then we can choose some to discuss. So elementary school had the most listing. 1, partnership meeting among feeder elementary schools to encourage retention to middle school. 2, trauma-informed training for all staff. 3, parent involvement. 4, after-school programs and partnerships. 5, broken playground equipment at Willow Branch Elementary. 6, anthills and wasp nests at Willow Branch Elementary. 7, crosswalks and crossing guards available for walkers at Willow Branch Elementary. 8, garage and bathrooms are dirty at Willow Branch Elementary. 9, teacher assistance and help in classroom at Willow Branch Elementary. Next summer, HVAC issues in August, when it's been off all summer, our substitute shortage and math testing reading, it can be split into two parts, so that would mean 2 days to complete the reading portion for my group. All right, for middle school, we have 4 topics: recruitment and retention, overloading instructional coaches and STEM coordinators with teaching, or watching classrooms due to shortages or teachers leaving, the year-round calendar, a referendum for 2023, develop a pipeline from well-established universities to grow the applicant pool with SPED. Under high school, we have bus transportation and the suggestion to hire more drivers, safety concerns due to growth in Bluffton, larger schools should have more SROs, cell phone during instruction, career pathways for students with a traditional pathway not conducive for learning, redistricting, and also year-round calendar. So, maybe, since there's year-round calendar, seems to be both a middle school and high school issue, let's start with that. So, why don't we, I don't know, whoever made these suggestions, if you would like to speak first, that would be fine. And just give us your thoughts why you suggested that. Okay.
Thank you. Scott Shipsey, I'm the Ladies Island Middle School, I'm the SIC chair. We did have year-round school way back. Some of you may have remembered that. And the middle school teachers really enjoyed that cycle throughout the year. There were breaks embedded. And I think maybe it's time to just revisit it. I know high school is pretty much off the table the way their schedules are. But some of the teachers that are still around in the county that I remember way back really enjoyed those breaks along the year where they were able to get out with their family and do some different activities, whether going to state or just that break. And I think it really did a good thing for helping with student learning, because during some of the off time you can get in some remedial work. It just, I thought was really good, strong program. And I remember my kids going through Ladies Island Elementary way back, and it was something really to look forward to as a staff and community. So that's just my thought, maybe taking a little harder look at the year-round schedule and keeping that learning progress moving along. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So if board members want to speak this, so we can review
Thank you, Scott. I too lived year round as a teacher at Beaufort Middle School when the district did that. And I agree with you. There was no doubt that there were benefits on many levels. Families, like you mentioned, redoing lesson plans. Now that you know the kids because you know where they are, and then remediation, all that kind of thing. My concern though was my children were in high school and I was in middle school. And so when I was back to school, you know, in July, they were off. And then when I had off, they were in. So there wasn't a family time for that regard. I totally agree with you that there's other ways to do it. And I think there are many schools in the nation that are doing year round as an entire district, not just elementary, middle, but also high school, the whole district year round. And even though I won't be on the board after December 31st, you know, I could turn to people I know who are going to be. And I absolutely think it should be something to be looked at. I mean, there's got to be a way that high school maybe could do it too, or at least to assess the will of the community toward it. So I greatly appreciate you saying that, because I think it has some real benefits.
Well, I'm the total opposite. I report, when you mentioned that I report that would be if we are having capability in terms of now you're talking about flipping when we first went to this. You're talking about having to change how parents have someone to look after their kids at certain parts of the year. And right now, our first question before we begin to get into that, we talk about the buses that we have, that we already have some different issues with. But then you also talk about where is the information, because when we tried the first time, just moved to it, it was based upon the structure of it was that the year-round schedule was more instructional, it was more instructional driven, and that was supposed to be acceptable of it. I didn't see where it happened at the first time, so if it didn't work the first time. My question is, what will make it work now? So I'm more on the instructional side of where the evidence said this is what will drive us to make the change, not just because of more preference, because people can spend time, people take vacation, but on the education point, where's the facts that show the evidence that that's the best way that is where it's conducive, not only for this other places, but also for the people in the area and the students there when we tried before, where did they get us that? So that's my leading answer. I know parents, they be very challenging. So those are some things that come right at the top, right out. That's my last thing.
Doesn't Jasper County go to, we have data from them yet?
No, this is the first deal.
This is their first year.
Yeah, but there are others. We can go looking at it.
I know the Wilmette cluster, in that year round, they did improve, the schools did improve. So maybe all schools are gonna improve, but those three schools did improve, so.
I would certainly support looking at it, and there are districts that do this. And I can tell you, I was in the Charlotte Mecklenburg School District when we opened a huge magnet program for year-round schools. And the community responds with childcare. Once you tell them what your schedule is going to be, everyone that provides childcare now with summer, they do the same. They rally around. So those are roadblocks that I think are something that can be worked around. I think it's from an academic point, I have seen where it has had benefits to learning because it's more continual. You don't have the summer slide, right? Because you don't have that big summer. So I would certainly encourage, us to look at it again, survey the community and talk about where it's been done. And I don't know why it stopped here and why it wasn't, that's prior to me, but I guess I'm looking at that as well.
Just wanted to complete the circle. So, I mean, I think we all know why it stopped, and I think we all know why it would be faced with difficulties to put back in unless we're gonna do it in pockets. Because some areas are not gonna, they're not gonna be receptive to it. Days off, vacation time, all of the other amenities of the region. And you take it away because of year-round school, people are gonna reject that. And I'm speaking from a Hilton Head point of view. They're not gonna go for year-round school because it means no summer vacation. And that's the reality of it. We can do it in pockets. Places who, don't care about the summer vacation as much as they care about student improvement, then it's possible. But we're gonna be met with that kind of resistance. That's the first thing you're gonna be met with. Hilton Head area never went to a year-round process. Yeah.
Anybody in the audience want to say anything further, or we can go on to the next thing? Okay, go ahead.
I first have a question. I have been out of this for a while with the local congressional delegation, the state delegation. Is there any chance of it doing something even more modest, of being able to balance the 2 semesters, or are we still going to be locked in that fall with the late start in August? Is there anybody in the delegation that's sympathetic to that changing?
Okay.
So we are tied to, there's legislation that prevents a start date prior to like August 15th or what have you. The exception to that rule is a modified calendar, which is year-round sort of ish, right? That would do some, like a month and a half or 2 in the summer, month and a half in the summer kind of thing. And then you pick up some other days in other parts of the year, like October. But there's modified calendar would allow you to start earlier than that August 15th date.
Is that what Jasper County?
But you need to get permission to.
Is that what Jasper County's doing?
Yes. Correct. Yeah, it's modified. I wouldn't call it year round, because the legislature will tell you no right away.
And my second question is just from my perspective. Now, I know this doesn't affect every district. We're the signature AP schools, so if we start changing the calendar, that can do great harm to our program. I just hope that that's still considered when, I know it can't be the end all and be all, but for us, that is, we have 400 students involved in that program every year. And it does great things that you can't get anywhere else, even in some of the colleges and universities here in the campus. So just please keep that in mind when you do this.
Which program is that?
Advanced placement.
All right, so it seems like the next step would be probably to just get to the community and their parents to determine is there interest in considering. So those, as I mentioned, that year-round calendar was under both middle school and high school topics. So let's go to something under elementary school. A lot of the elementary school topics really are operational issues, and I'm going to pass this off to Dr. Rodriguez to address these operational issues like broken playground, and handles, all that kind of stuff.
Point of clarification. When you said just now, you said that you said the next step will be what just moving forward, what will be the process as we get this information? Because I thought we were just getting this information and we were gonna come back and we were gonna discuss as a board. So are we making decisions to move on these? Are we taking votes, or how do you see it fit for us to move on it versus just saying, well, we have enough to go ahead and move on the decision? What's the process?
Well, this is just supposed to be interaction in terms of a dialogue. No, we were not, I did not envision this as a business meeting where we're taking votes. It seems like that topic is a topic that the SICs are interested in. And so I think we haven't decided, yes, that's something we're going to do. It would be a huge impact. It's already been pointed out with everyone's comments here. So, next step I would think would be a survey that the district can put out. Is there interest for this or not? And because the SICs aren't, they're trying to improve their school, but there's a limited number of people who participate in that SIC. It would affect every family in this district. So there have to be some kind of input from the public whether or not it was something that we even should consider addressing.
Right, and I understand that, but I just don't think that this is enough people in the room to galvanize to make a decision like that. That would be a driving factor in terms of what we want to do as a district. I mean, I wouldn't consider this to be 1/3 of the people of the SIC that we have here. I look around, I see majority principals. So I'm just concerned that if we were more driving the vote to say that prior to the meeting that we want to really hear from the community members as SIC members, then I would be cautious to say that we would want to hear more of it, maybe at the next SIC joint meeting, that we would possibly bring that back or bring that to the board. See how the new board, the board feel about it. But I think to bringing that forward now, I think that would be a little premature, because I personally, as a board member, I don't see where there's enough people who are from actually the SIC besides administrators up to bring that forward. So that's my deterrent on that. I just don't see where that we would need that.
We will be discussing this in our work session in January. So that would give us enough time to we're not gonna make a decision tonight. We just want to get information and get the input from the people that are here, and the ones that are not here, we should have that information by that time.
And how we go about that?
Do a survey or whatever, because I mean, if people don't know, what else can you do if the people don't show up? You know what I'm saying? You invite them, they don't show up, what else you supposed to do?
Yeah, that's not here.
So I would just make a recommendation. When Colonel Guyer and I were discussing this format, thank you. When Colonel Guyer and I were discussing this format, and we wanted to dialogue about this. Part of what we had discussed is that if there was a topic of great concern, interest and everything amongst board members and amongst SIC, that it would be put on as an agenda topic at the next work session. And so it'd be my recommendation is that, I mean, that's going to be in January, which is just around the corner, and all of this can be solved or worked out during that. Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Stratos can present some pros and cons as one of the topics of the work session. The board can decide, we'll put our next step, going out for a survey, and it could be done in a voting motion format, so that with the information that's needed. That was kind of how we saw things progressing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. That's why I want to know what was the process of thinking, so that that we don't go from 0 to 100 real quick.
All right, so
I'm good enough for that clarification.
Okay.
Because how I just perceived that comment by Mr. Smith was, it didn't matter who showed up here tonight, because we didn't even talk about anything. Because our opinion was not going to matter this evening, because we were too small of a crowd. So I appreciate you clarifying that you're going to bring this to January, because otherwise I was going to walk out.
right.
Actually, prior to the meeting, when we last discussed the format of this meeting, what was discussed, if you go back and look at the tape, what was discussed that we want and actually it wasn't me that said it, but I came up with that intention of what was last discussed, is that we wanted the SIC parents to drive more upon what they see or what they want to bring forth to us versus the administration, because the administration, they already have time to come to us. So if you took it the wrong way, then
I didn't take.
I'm saying you took it the wrong way, and I apologize. But that's
Here, so she is my driving force on our topic.
All right, so I think under elementary school, I think, as I started to say, a lot of these things are operational nature. I'll pass a number of them to Dr. Rodriguez after the meeting is over, and I don't think they really warrant more discussion if it gets easily. So how about parental involvement? I think that's an excellent topic. And I know Mr. Earl Campbell brings this up a lot, and I would agree with him wholeheartedly. Parental involvement is crucial for academic achievement. So how can we fix that or help or better improve that? So I would love to hear what comments you have as SIC members.
Okay, so that was my question or comment. I'm at St. Helena Elementary School. I have my third child there, the other two have graduated. And I've seen through the past couple of years that a lot of parents have so much to say, you know, during outside of school events, outside of a forum like this, lots of opinion. And we always say, or the administration always says, come to the meetings, let's discuss when we finally get to the meetings, we don't really have anybody there. And it's dwindled actually since we've been there, because now there's, I would say on our last meeting, our last PTO SIC meeting, we had maybe 10 parents. And then we do certain things like Dean Day afterwards. So all of the kids whose parents are on the meeting, they get to wear jeans the next day. That's a little bit of encouragement. Not everybody though. And then the most involvement that we have is on the days that we have a dinner. So everybody shows up, the lights out the door, everybody gets a free meal, but we can't do that with so much. And so that's what my concern is, that how do we get more of the parents out? How do we get people interested in the, I stopped short of saying interested in their kids, but interested in helping their kids and helping the school help the kids. I think that's why we're all here. So that's my biggest question at the moment.
I wonder if there are any school representatives out here, anybody out here that has a decent parent turnout that can offer some suggestions. What are some, you're right, the dinner. I'm not that's what we do tonight. But, you know, maybe some, maybe we should start out some ideas.
Good evening, I'm Sheila. I'm representing Broadway Elementary, my daughter is fourth grade there. So what I'm trying, not at Broad River, but we were at the Branch Elementary and JJD. What we tried there was to do like, when we have a PTO, is to play bingo. So we played bingo and we gave household items. So the people began to come because they were thinking that they had needs. So we tried that. At first it was 0. And then we got to about 10, 12 there. So that worked by giving something their need. And then like when we have the Thanksgiving dinner or the Christmas big, then we actually, those are big nights for agendas. So we're gonna throw some things at them because we got them. So then we actually whip them too. We tell them that you haven't been here all year long, we got you. And you need to be here after December. So we actually throw bait out there to them. And the bait was household items. And so every time we had a meeting, we were like washing powder, bleach, and toilet tissue, paper towel. And they started, and so it was something to get the parents there. And so they started coming, and then they would actually bring somebody else. So that was just a big that we go.
Can I ask, and maybe principals, is there enough money in the budgets? I mean, sometimes I think of how can we help? Is there enough money in your school budgets to do something like that? Or is that going out and asking Walmart to donate? Or is, you know, I mean,
Partnership.
Yeah. And that's not even $100 a month. You can do that, you can get 10 items less than $100 a month. So if it's in your budget or whatever, or if you got a committee that actually got a fundraiser, $100 a month, you know. And even I see that once, I think at Will Branch, they actually sent a survey out to the parents of what time of day is best for you. And so we can't put it on our time all the time. What's the parents want? What day of the week? So that was sent out also. So once it comes back and you say that we sent this out and this was a rule that Tuesday at 5 is the time, and then the school puts it for Thursday at 5, it's not rule. So that was another question was brought up, whether that day that they were having the meeting was it convenient for all the parents or majority rule.
Hi, I'm Tracy Lee, principal at OPT. What we did find in the last couple of years, thank you to COVID and having the opportunity to have Zoom meetings, we do have in person, which we have a good number, but giving the parents the opportunity to Zoom into the meeting so that if their work schedule, if they work in the evening, they could use their dinner time, their little break to be able to join us so they can participate. And we have about 50% of the group that joins that way. So we just try to give them multiple opportunities and avenues in which they can be a part of their child's education.
We do Zoom too.
The SIC chair at Bluffton High, we have had some luck with something I stole from NOMED's SIC, the parent university. We're like, we have a topic like our AP program or school safety, we can pull in 50, 60 parents. I don't have the magic bullet though to get them to come back to the next meeting. I've discovered when we don't have controversy, when you've got a school that's doing really well, nobody wants to be at those meetings. Now, the moment they start going south, we're back. But if I can find anybody who knows what to do, if I've got them once, what to do to keep them there, I would talk to you because I haven't found it. There are a lot of things that don't work. But it needs to get on certain nights, be out for certain topics. We have a lot of things.
Hi, my name is Amanda Phillips. I'm the SIC chair for Hilton Middle School. And one way that we were able to really up attendance with our school improvement council is beginning the school year, our principal actually put out just a quick QR code, Google form. If you're interested, scan this. And our membership for interested parents tripled in size. And it was that ongoing, making it available, making it transparent. And so it's, and whether it's Zoom or face-to-face, we have tripled the number than we did last year.
Can I ask you a question? Yes. You said the QR code was for the meetings, when the meetings were happening?
It's just a sign up for SIC and or PTA. And so we've received from that QR code, that Google form, we got a Google Doc with all of the interested parents. And then as the chair, I just reached out to them, gave them the meetings and they started coming. And then they're on that, I could remind them.
Molly back there in the back.
My name is Sabina Coleman and I'm the new principal of Warrior Nation. I want to give an idea. I haven't started yet. I'm the door down here because I know it's a really good idea. So you guys can use it. We're going to start using a card and it's going to be like the parent gold card. Looks like a credit card where the parents are able, when they're coming to SIC meetings, PTO meetings, anything that we have to educate our parents, if they come, they can kind of get this stamp. And after they accumulate a certain amount, they're able to get into a game for free. So that's something that we're going to start implementing. We haven't started yet. So I get them ahead. But second semester, that's something that we're going to start implementing so that when I go into 2024, parents can start earning their stamp to get into the game for the upcoming year for free.
Some good ideas.
No.
An idea for elementary schools, but I've heard a lot of my life in elementary schools. You know, I don't know, I still do this in language arts, you can do readers theater. So, you know, it's part of your reading program, it gets the kids to read the same passage over and over, and, you know, once a month, the kids get to do a readers theater performance. If you put it in the evening where the parents will come, you know, but parents always come to see their kids perform. And a readers theater doesn't detract from instructional time. It's really part of instructional time. The kids get excited about it. It improves their reading fluency, and the parents, you know, like it. So this those types of things where you can get the students involved in doing some type of easy performance type thing for them. It's parents will come.
Yeah, that's an example of community engagement that I think we're all talking about it. I think we're not talking generally in terms of SIC people who might want to sign up for that. We're talking about how to get parents engaged who generally would not be engaged.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really, you know, that's $100,000 question. But in education, you know, you do have to deal with who you have. Let's start with that. All right, you gotta deal with who you have, and a lot of times those parents don't have a very pleasant viewpoint of schools. The same parents you're talking about, who's son is in your class. And that's the one you want to see every once in a while. And you have to be creative in terms of getting that person there. And links are important. And when I say links, and we talked to Dr. R about some of these things, but community engagement may have to take a different look so that you can eventually get that parent or an uncle of that kid into a meeting to talk, you know, welfare in terms of that kid. And that's hard to do in a big system like we've got. So everybody's got their own little pockets of schools, pockets of individual parents. And you got to deal with who are the influence in this community. Who are the people who can get the people I want to get to involved? Those are the people you have to go at for your SIC, for your PTSO, for your hall monitors, for your theater programs. Those are the people who are going to get those people there. And that's, you know, an individual thing, depending on where you are, the school that you're at. Because there are people in those communities, those neighborhoods that have been there generation and have the influence. They can move those needles a lot more than we know. But, you know, they themselves are, hey, that's cool, I don't want to go, I don't care. Experience when I was there was not good, but you need a wraparound person. Person who's going to walk up and say, ah, come on, your child's great, doing good. It may not be the teacher of that child, maybe someone who gets a football game and you talk to them as a teacher, say, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with this kid. Yeah, that's my nephew. Well, I need somebody up here to talk to his parents so we can get a meeting. We can get to talk because everybody needs to feel like they're important. And one of the biggest problems we've had, and this is an historical problem, it's not a problem that you just facing, it just end up getting to this point. Schools have not been, you know, friendly suitors many times. That's the way parents perceive it. That's historical, particularly when it comes to Black parents. All right, and now you have Black parents. That's historical. All right, and we have cut through some of that by doing some of the old-fashioned things. For 23 years in Hilton High School, we had outreach. I knew people who knew people. And you got the same thing. You got people that you know who know people. Those are people you gotta use. You gotta use them to get the people you want engaged. They'll get the people to that dinner. They'll get the people listening. You know, but right now it's more adversarial than communal. That's not good. But Dr. R understands that well, and we're working to do some things to change that from our perspective here. But it is, you know, a grassroots effort. That's what it's going to take to make the changes that, you know, I've been in the classroom and I know what you're talking about. The changes that we need got to come from the grassroots. It's got to come from those parents who might not ever show up to anything. That football coach might have to call that parent and say, hey, son playing ball this week, want to see you there, want to talk to you. Those are the kind of things we need to do. And that's how I encourage more parental involvement. Some of the things you mentioned definitely works. Works better though if Aunt Susan is making the spaghetti at that dinner. All right, you're not making that spaghetti, but Aunt Susan's making, because she's gonna bring some people she knows with her. Yeah. The bar of the spaghetti, beans and franks.
This discussion in bar. I had spaghetti dinners at my school, get these and breaks. It seems like,
Yeah, I would definitely, agree with what Mr. Campbell said. In terms of, that, also, I think that it's key to get people who have like good relationships within the, community to start bringing them in and start getting those people like, I always talk about board members often that sometimes that we have board members, we have to get, in the mix because of the fact that obviously people believe us because they elected us to live here. But sometimes we have to have some of these conversations too with parents and get them actively engaged. Just like, over at, I used to over at, when Mr. Coleman was over at, elementary school, first coming in, people like what kind of person she was, and, what's gonna be the changes. I had this, I quote life and said, listen, give her a chance, this will be good. People believe because not only with also with he, but also with the principal, he was out there talking, actively engaging. People say, hey, I want you to come into my school. Hey, he was welcoming and he went to places to say, what can I do to get something in school? But on the other end, when you have Kendall Burn on two sides, I was really saying that she was doing it. It's on people that give her a chance, going there and getting actively involved and they realize it's like, it's really good. We really like what we see. So I think it really takes everybody. And it takes everybody speaking the same language. It takes everybody getting actively engaged, everyone being on one accord, not board, administration, community. It's one. You have to be one. Community, the board, and administration, we all have to be on one accord. That's what's going to really bring it together as a whole. So that's just one thing I would add to it. That will help. That's practical tool that I like. It's about like not if I was taught myself. Thank you.
I just want to publicly say thank you, because the one accord was a big lesson of support in the Ladies Island community. And we were able to do a lot of great work. And many times I'll call and say, hey, I'm getting ready to do this. And he'll get the community ear before I even spoke. And so that one accord helped to bridge the gap. And it was only 1 year, 1 quarter. Well, 1 year, 1 quarter, they fell elementary. But we did some amazing things, and it's awesome to see the work that even interim principal Osborne is continuing because of all of the support that was gathered in that community. So I just want to help me thank you.
all right, we'll go to high school. Mr. Earl Campbell and I attended the state Carolina Board Association just last weekend. It was for legislative issues. The topic that came up, and it came up repeatedly, was cell phone use during instruction. That's a big problem. And that is under the high, we're probably wrote that in here under high school. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and discussion and ideas about that. And I'm not sure who submitted it. Okay, perfect.
Fix that.
Good evening, as a math instructor and some of my colleagues, we are having a challenge with cell phones, used during instruction. And the impact of it, the kids don't realize that they can't multitask and listen to us. and listen to whatever they got in these little earbuds, because they know what they want. You think that you got Dino that helps us to monitor their screen while we are doing our instruction, but when you monitoring, walking around, you got kids with cell phones behind the screen, doing and watching whatever it is that they want to watch. But then the end game is the test scores. Academically, they don't understand what they don't understand. And it's impacting them as well as us because of academics. And that's why I put that on there to ask. You know, we need help from parents. And we need help from the students to help them to understand what they don't understand. But that is an issue in our schools.
So, Catherine, as a math teacher, what are your solutions?
Well, we have suggested that they put them in their book bags when they're in our rooms, but that's not happening. We suggest that they, seek help from parents. Parents tell us, well, y'all can take the cell phones. But then when we try to do that, these kids are belligerent when it comes to these cell phones. They don't understand that their heart's not gonna stop if they disconnect. But they don't want to disconnect. It's like this is a connection to these kids in their minds that they cannot disconnect from these phones. But they are not doing themselves any justice academically by keeping them on their person.
I don't know if this is kind of see it, but people in my department have purchased calculator holders. And the students check their cell phones into that holder when they come to vote. So it's not being permanently taken away from them. And they have it in there when they're done. And it's had some success with that.
And that
We do have some of the kids that fight that tooth and nail.
That was one of the ideas that was at the School Board Association. There was somebody who gave some very similar kind of solution, and they had like, the old shoe bags that you hang from a closet door that had the individual pockets for, your shoes. Well, they had those in the classroom so that you have, they were finding out pocket 1 or pocket 10, whatever. And so you literally, check your cell phone into that for the instruction time. And then another one I think Earl had, where if they did do that, I believe they got some extra credit for homework or something like that. They made it somehow linked to instruction. I'm not so sure I'm a fan of that, but so,
That's performance.
As a parent, I don't know why. I have a daughter that's in the middle school, I got a daughter in the elementary school, I got a goddaughter in high school. My 2 youngest kids can't take the cell phone in school. So how did the rule change that my goddaughter can take it out? So why do we want to go across the board? That all the kids not take the cell phone at all? Because my 9-year-old can't take it at her school. My 11-year-old can't take it at her school. But my 18-year-old can take it at her school. Or she got it in school. She has it. Yeah, she has it in school where they don't. It's not home. I'm not going, but it's either approved or not for 12th grader to take it in school. Because she takes it in the school, but my 9-year-old can't have it, my 11-year-old can't have it, but my 18-year-old can. So, and I asked her, so I don't know whether is it for him that they can have it in the high school.
Principals.
So can I ask one of the principals or Ms. Dixon, what is the rule on this in I mean, you're not gonna check backpacks for kids for if they have a cell phone, absolutely not. Some of these cell phones cost $1,000, kids, you know, they have not to live their life, but what is the rule? Is there-
So my name's Frank Austin, I'm the principal at Hilton Head Middle, and we allow students to have cell phones with them. We have grades 6, 7, and 8. What we have done specifically this year, we've asked for students to leave them in their bags. And again, it's hit or miss. Sometimes we get that support and that compliance, sometimes we're fighting it. But we allow them to use these phones before school, after school, and during their lunchtime. And so we try to work with them a little bit because we also know that just like anybody in here who has a phone, you've probably checked it at least once already tonight. So there are things that we do that we use these phones for, and parents are communicating with their children, even at the middle school level, all day long. And so I would caution parents, and I would ask for their support to help us so that they are maybe streamlining some of this communication. But at the same time, I think we do have to, it's got to be a little bit of give and take. This is something that is going to be part of our lives for forever. And until they come up with something cooler anyway. But at least for now, we have to be able to give them that time to utilize these and teach them the appropriate way to use them, while also still helping them to focus on instruction when it's that time.
I'm in elementary school and many of our home, do not have home phones anymore. And for safety aspects, students have the phones turned off if they so have a phone. They don't have the opportunity to have them out at school. But if they're powered off in their backpack when they get off the bus, they so power them on to communicate with their parents. Parents also use phones to track students in neighborhoods. There's smart watches, there's many air tags that parents in this day and age want the ability to know where their children are. So they may have phones in their backpacks, but we expect them to be silenced and powered off. The only time that they're removed is during state testing because that is not allowable. And so those phones are removed and put in another location. But parents do want to be able to communicate, and some of our students do go home as fifth graders and are at home, and they need the ability to be able to call for assistance.
Right?
No, go ahead.
It goes, flesh out that, what I was talking about before, our, policy the same as at Hilton Head Middle. Before, the only choice we had, you got your phone out, we're gonna take it, give it to an administrator together during the day. What we did, why we did the, pockets is, hey, you're having trouble with your phone, you got a choice, you put it in the pocket, or we will take it. So that was trying, because for certain students, that was, wasting instructional time, because had to deal with the same student over and over again, and then eventually they would get, the phone, parent had to come in, and for some parents that was okay, other parents, they go ballistic and et cetera, et cetera. So, make it a non-issue. It's an issue for you, just put it in the pocket.
I'll just add to the dialogue, this thing right here is like an appendage now, right? If you want to call it, it's perfectly removed. But seriously, there are also a lot of parents that we hear from that say, you know what? In the case of an emergency, I want to know and connect with my child, right? And so you can see when there might be something happening in the community and near the school, and school police put or SROs put us on emergency lockdown for a little bit. Parents, as soon as we communicate about that, their instinct is then, I just want to know that my child's okay right now, right? So they're going to get a text, they get a call sometimes, those kinds of things in order to connect. Some kids don't go home right after school, they're going to other places. So parents want to stay in touch with them when they leave the school. This is a challenge that we're encountering, and I don't see it going away, anytime soon. I think it's the kind of thing that I think Mr. Johnson put well, which is one of the best things we do in partnership and consultation with parents is teach them appropriate times to use it, provide options like Dr. Sandusky said, look, you're responsible, right? You make the responsible decision. But if you can't control yourself and you know it, put it here, right? By the way, I have 2 kids. One's an 18-year-old in one of our high schools. The other one is in 9th grade, right? And, you know, my 9th grade doesn't have an issue with it. You know, my oldest, you know, I mean, next phone during the day, I'm like, hey, that's your call. I'm gonna get a call from the principal. What do I do? You know, so anyway.
All right, well, we need to wrap it up since we allotted.
Let me say something on that topic, please.
Okay. Comment?
Yeah, sorry, comment, yeah. Yeah, I think a couple of people hit it on the head. The dinosaurs have to go. Transfer the classroom. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's what's really happening. You know, I left the classroom in 2014 because I was a dinosaur. You know, and basically the cell phone threw me out. You know, it was, you know, when I'm thinking of where it is today, it was a minimal problem then. You know, you have to write it up and confiscate it and then have the parents claim it and then, you know, kids have to pay sometime to get it back. Hey, a nightmare. You know, and the trend is moving too fast the other way. So as educators, we have to, again, outsmart those students by putting those cell phone as a part of the process. Take your cell phone out, put it on the desk. All right, now guys have the cell phone go. But you can't, when you start fighting, you lost them. You're gonna be dead. Because that trend's gonna keep going. You know, so I think, yeah, it's ways that you have to encompass that use. Use that use. And make that a part of the process. Yeah.
Dinosaurs. I don't know dinosaurs can be.
I would just add one more thing. There are some classes that, and things that students are involved in that have, for example, band apps, right? And they coordinate, you know, for example, ROTC programs, right? Coordinate, okay, tomorrow, uniform, in uniform, and those sorts of things. And they send those out, you know, in the evenings sometimes, right? But then during the day, there's a change in plan. So there's another band that goes out, practices after schools. Sometimes teachers use it to communicate with kids through, in their classes. So it's part of the new world. Yeah, yeah. But, you know, we do have to find a way to not let it interfere with instruction. Yeah, we have, that's the trick. We can model that.
All right, so as we mentioned at the beginning of tonight's meeting, the topics that we haven't covered that the SIC group brought forward, we're going to discuss those at our work session and bring them back to you in the March joint board SIC meeting. And we really appreciate, as I said earlier, for your input tonight. And please let us know either, you know, verbally or in email or whatever, if you have comments about the way the format of the meeting was tonight, positive or negative. Also, please don't forget, we have lots of food in the back, and we would love to see you.
There's trays for you all tonight.
And one last thing, we all need to say, happy birthday, Dr. Frank Rodriguez. Thanks a lot and enjoy your evening and enjoy the holidays.
Thank you. Unanimous.